Oh, wow. We're
Wow.
back in a race around the world, or more like allegedly around Central and South America.
Yeah, no, we never cross either of the two major oceans, east or west of this season.
Yo. But we're going to two new countries. We don't know what those are yet,
Yeah,
but we're going there.
we're going.
Great. So, hello, and hi there. Welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. I am drinking, still an undisclosed strawberry lime energy drink. It may or may not be the same undisclosed strawberry lime energy drink as the one I was drinking in another recording where I'm wearing the exact same outfit, and Jack is too.
This is our first time doing anything today. I don't know what you're talking about.
I wish I could say that. This is my third. But if I was drinking anything out of a smaller vessel to drink out of course it would be in a cup mug. All of the cup mugs, all of the cup mugs. That's the remix.
Yeah,
Um,
the little drag race edit.
absolutely. All of the cup mugs, all of the cup mugs. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. And you can get yours and all of our other merch. I don't know what's happening today, y'all. I'm so sorry. You can get all
Can
of
you
your
tell
merch.
Logan's doing great?
I'm doing so wonderful. I'm not stressed or anxious at all. Anyway, you can get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. Link is down in the description below. And we do ship within the within North America and potentially internationally sometime soon. So there are
So if you're in
some
Mexico,
excuses.
maybe.
Mexico, we are looking at you.
That's probably fine. We can just throw it over the border. You'll be good. You'll catch, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how to catch. Anyway, hi, my name is Jack. I am a game designer, and yeah, you could tell that this one was filmed first. This is a
You can.
fun story because at this
Isn't it
point
a fun season? It's a fun story because we're here talking
they
about the Amazing Race season 36.
36
Which was not
kinda.
supposed to be 36. Hence why there is no mention of it being season 36 at all.
Anywhere, anywhere.
Because this was filmed before season 35, which was supposed to be season 36. But because CBS changed things up on uh the producers of The Amazing Race and gave them a 90-minute time slot instead of a 60-minute time slot, they had already completely edited this season
And needed a significant amount of time
and
to
needed a
put in
big
30
amount of
more minutes.
time to add 30 minutes to every episode. And oh boy, does it show.
Yeah,
Because
this
we got every single team's backstory in this episode.
I didn't even
All
realize.
13 teams.
Yeah, we got to know every single one of them, and somehow I still don't know their names.
I don't know most of their names. I really don't.
It's just like, well, I mean, we do kind of know one team more than others, kind of.
Well, yeah. So we have personal kind of stakes in this season. And we'll talk about that very shortly. But before we do, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things reality TV. And oh boy, is there a lot of reality TV happening right now out of absolutely nowhere. So make sure to subscribe. We've got two other channels as well with almost all things drag and almost all things Eurovision Song Contest. More fabulous things to come as well. And if you would like to go support us in a monetary fashion, you could go hit the super thanks button on any of our main channel videos or head over to our main channel, hit the join button and join the tea room, or you go to Patreon, same content, different platform. All of that money goes right back into making this podcast better for you. So
you want us to cover some obscure stuff? We'll do it.
If you want us to cover specifically season 4 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we could do that.
Okay, you put that out there, great. Now we're gonna have to do that. I was
Just
more
season
thinking
4?
like just season 4. No context for anything else.
Nothing else, just season 4. So I had to get us a cute little cast graphic because I don't know everybody's names yet. But first and foremost, we have to talk about the Walla Walla shaped elephant in the room.
Yeah.
So we both know Danny Butler.
Yes. Danny.
I'm so happy for him. Because I know this is a dream of his, as it was made very evident in this premiere. I'm just so happy for him. I really am. I'm happy for him and his mom. Very thrilled. Yeah. So he comes from the same online gaming community that Jack and I met in, that we know Lana, where we met David. A lot of the Cup people came from that
space,
that universe, that space that we no longer really associate with. But yeah, I've gotten the chance to get to know Danny, and he is one of the most deserving people I could think of to get a shot on reality TV. And knowing that he makes Amazing Race games in his hometown of Walla Walla and like hosts them, and he is the Phil Kogan, I'm so happy for him. I really am. So thrilled. Yeah. Yes. Beyond that, I will say, I think I actually do know the 2 new countries that we are going to on this season.
Oh?
Because I looked it up, and there is a full list of the countries that the teams will be going to. It's only 5, including Mexico.
Yes. Yeah, because COVID restrictions were still pretty heavily in effect.
Yeah, so this was filmed in, I believe, early 2022. If I remember right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was either early 2022 or late 2022.
It was 2022 for sure.
Yeah.
2022.
So
was it 2022?
2022.
Hey, October 25th to November 17th of 2022.
Yeah. So we are still having a lot of COVID restrictions, and the Amazing Race team said, you know what? Let's just send them south. Yeah. Like, it's just easy. And as such, this is quite literally an Amazing Race around Central and South America.
Yes. And so this goes back. Think of this season like we thought of 33 and 34, where we don't have the open flight situation in this season. We don't have, the broader world traveling that we did with 35. It's a bit more of a pared back season, but obviously they start in Mexico. We know that the 2 countries that they're returning to on this season are Argentina and Colombia. And we know that the 2 new countries that we're visiting are the Dominican Republic and Barbados.
Huh.
Where apparently, and this is what I'm reading from USA Today, apparently, while they're in Barbados, one of the stops is at Rihanna's childhood home.
Sure.
Hey, if I was a Rihanna fan, I would be, and I am, And let me make that very clear. I am. So I would be thrilled. Seems very random, but honestly, I'm here for it. And this season, more than any other, if you didn't learn Spanish before you went on this season, you're fucked.
Granted, a team that specifically learned Spanish for this season does get screwed over immediately, but it isn't because they don't know how to speak Spanish. But that's also
because Maya and Rohan were a disaster.
Yeah.
We'll just say it out front. But yes, very excited for Mr. Danny Butler. This cast is a lot of places. I really enjoy, we didn't do a cast assessment. I realized as well. We know because they didn't really release a whole lot of preseason media coverage.
Because it was all like a year and a half old.
Yeah, I don't think they did any sort of bios at all. But just quickly talking about the cast, I love how much diversity is on this cast. That was the first thing I noticed is like, and also we have 2 queer teams.
The only, if I'm remembering right, the only dating teams this season are Cesar and Ricky, who are both gay, and Melissa and Yvonne, who met on, and I quote, girls who like
hiking. I'm just...
Of course they did.
Of course they did.
I love it so much.
They are early favorites for me. I will be honest. They are early favorites for me. I'm loving Caesar and Ricky. Because obviously. And the other team that I'm absolutely loving right now is Michelle and Sean.
Yes.
Michelle specifically is a one-liner machine. I found myself laughing anytime Michelle was saying anything non-serious in this episode. And the interesting thing about this episode too, you can tell that they had to re-edit this 4 times.
Yeah. It's bad.
And they had to add so much in that it kind of mixes up a lot of what happens. And I found myself very confused throughout the whole episode. So honestly, I don't know that us talking about this episode in a linear format makes the most sense.
I don't honestly think it does.
So I'll just overview the tasks we had at hand in this episode, and we can kind of just talk around things. I think that might be the best way to approach this episode specifically. And I hope that's not this way with the whole season.
I feel like it might
be, Jack. I don't know. I'm a little...
Yeah. I think this is really the first time in like all the reality TV that I've seen where we've edited for time, but not decreasing it. So this is a really interesting study of what happens when you're forced to make a show longer than it originally was. Because, for example, Drag Race, I want to say 15. Was it 15 or 14 that got heavily cut down because of the 15. Real gays of WeHo? Thank you.
Yeah, so 15 got cut down, and they eventually re-released the episode, which I will say, season 15 of Drag Race was a season that I really enjoyed in the 60-minute format. I found myself appreciating the season even more watching the 90-minute version that they released, I think in August.
Yes.
Thank you, Brandon.
Literally the weirdest thing. Someone from our podcast kind of just started a change.org petition, and it worked. Like, that blew the hell up. But yeah, no, this is like, we've seen stuff be edited down, but we really have not seen stuff ever be edited up.
Yeah.
I think we know why.
I think we know why that's not a typical commonplace thing. So we are starting in Puerto Vallarta. I love the starting place. We do also know, because they teased it in the intro trailer, we know the final location as well. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that.
Philly?
Philly.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back. We see someone get pied by the
That's
Philadelphia.
not a pie. That's
What
a
was it?
full-on sheet cake.
Oh, it looked like a pie to me. Well,
Yeah.
someone gets a sheet cake to the face from the Philadelphia Flyers mascot. I don't know.
Gritty.
Gritty. Oh, yeah, that's Gritty. Obviously, duh. Do the Gritty. I can't do the Gritty.
Get out.
I'm not going to. Don't worry. I'm not going to do the Gritty. But I kind of want to go back and see if I can figure out who that is, because that's such a blatant spoiler at the front of the season.
I swear to God. So the thing is, it may honestly be a team who never actually got that far, because they are known to just send teams out that are not actually part of
Right.
the race anymore to do the legs, to confuse the shit out of people
Right.
and test some things. But
Yeah. So what we started in Puerto Vallarta. They are driving to the first task,
yeah,
whatever it. You have to find the you have to go to Malecon, where they find their clue by the Voladores pole. This terrified me. Terrified. I was like, why are you swinging from that height upside down? No, thank you.
Yeah.
No. And immediately we get our detour, which is pick 'em up, where teams had to deliver a pair of rocking horses down a steep hill with a bunch of cobblestone streets, in order to receive their clue, or pin them down, where teams had to watch a lucha libre match and then pair up the masks of 5 luchador duos to get their clue, where we are then headed to Lienzo Charo Miguel Prieto Ibaria, where we get the roadblock, Who's Feeling Loopy, where one team member has to perform a Charo challenge. I can't roll my R's. Can't do it, sorry. By jumping through 7 spinning lassos to then reach the pit stop at the Plaza de los Arcos del Malecón, and check in with Phil. So, all that to say, I think this is the leg where I experienced the most, like, wait, where is everyone in the lineup?
Yeah. This
And
was
it happened. Yeah, go ahead.
just it quite literally felt like, okay, so we know who the top people are. We know there's a good nebulous of the middle. And then we kind of know who the end is, and then we know who's going home.
Oh yeah, I would say about 45 minutes into this episode, I had a pretty good idea of who's going to come in last.
Yeah.
Mind you, I also want to preface my whole discussion of this by saying, as soon as I found out that it was, I guess they call it a no rest leg. I didn't know that there was a term for it.
Yes, because it is a very, it's basically like the biggest summary of you do not stop racing legs.
Yeah.
Which, it's so weird.
It really is. I don't particularly care for them, if I'm being honest, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I knew very early on who was going to be last in this episode, but like you said, we knew who the top like 3 were, and we knew who was struggling, and that's about all we knew. And it really, for me, the big like WTF moment happens when we get to the rodeo, where all of a sudden a bunch of teams are like they finished the detour. And I specifically remember thinking about this with Angie and Danny, where I remember at one point, the last time I had seen their ticker name, they were like 11th. And I was like, oh dear God, no. No. And then all of a sudden, they're 5th. And I'm like, what happened?
The locations, I guess, were kind of close. Like, it's
so far away. I was very confused.
I know multiple people got lost on this leg.
Yeah.
Which Great first leg to apparently have like half the teams get lost at some point.
Because Maya and Rohan get lost. Chris and Mary get lost several times. Anthony and Bailey get lost. Juan and Shane get lost, and then somehow like leapfrog 5 or 6 different teams at one point. And then the big one that I was like, when Amber and Vinny popped back on screen, and they were like, "Oh, we've been driving. We're in the middle of nowhere." I was like, "When did this happen?"
None of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense, Jack. I'm like, what is happening here?
Genuinely, like, you have to start taking notes to realize where people are, and then you're like, no, actually, they're here.
No, actually, you don't have to do that. It's just wild to me. I don't want to spend my entire review talking about Danny.
But
however, I would like to highlight Danny's best bits from this episode because I have 2 specific moments. And the first is the fact that Angie got credited with the title of this episode, "You Can't Drive While You're Crying," because he gets on, they're in the car, they're driving to the first task, and Danny cries. And I did see on social media, someone was like, "Drink every time Danny Butler cries" in the premiere of Amazing Race 36. And like, I knew it was gonna 100% don't do it.
Death.
Because then we go to my second best bit of Danny, where he volunteers to do the roadblock. And he's going up and he's like, "So I actually have a severe fear of horses." And then as soon as he walks into the roadblock, horse.
Just immediate horse. And he's like,
immediate horse. Immediate horse. Just like, "No, Danny, no." And then he slays the roadblock. Oh my god. I was just like, what is happening here?
Yeah. But I mean, we kind of have this it's weird because this episode feels like, I mean, we already said it, but it's super disconnected to the point where it's like, and this team finished. And there's a whole segment in the middle of the episode where it's like, oh yeah, all of these teams check in. Back to back to back. Like, literally there is 30 seconds where we get 4 through 10.
They literally crossfaded so many fucking check-ins. And it obviously doesn't matter all that much because they just keep racing from here. But it's literally, I think it's literally 4th through 11th. Or 4th through 10th.
4th through 10th, because 11th is shown. But yeah.
True. Yes. I remember now. It's wild to me. The other part that I think is interesting about this leg is that they put a limit on the number of teams that can perform each detour.
My guess with that is it was the number of rocking horses that they had.
I agree with that. That seems like the most logical thing, because we also saw that, what was that, last season in the Thai spa? Was that that was last season?
That was last season, yes. It was a very similar
ago. But it was like only a certain number of teams can be there at any given time, but there wasn't a like set in stone limit. It's just, only 5 teams could be here, but you could wait if you wanted to.
Yeah. There was something a little bit later on. It was the painting challenge, the painting matching challenge that had a very similar limit. Like, there is only a set number of stations. If you want,
it was 7 and 7. I think were so they had to make sure. I guess probably also to make sure that people did it, so that way like the actors' time wasn't wasted.
Yeah.
Because they had to do these every 5 minutes for probably like 2 or 3 hours. And they probably had a huge break in the middle because like the front part of the teams all did this task. And then the middle section of the teams all did the rocking horse detour. And then because all of them did the rocking horse detour, all of the end teams ended up having to do the matching.
Yeah.
Which I think also contributes to why we got like the crossfade in the middle and why there was so much like all over the place. Because at one point, Juan and Shane are 12th and they're talking about how they're 12th. And then all of a sudden they're 6th. And then all of a sudden they end up 4th. And I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah, I think literally what happens is that middle pack of teams all basically finishes at the same time because they all get down there and all they have to do is unscrew the wheels off the horses and then they just go. Like they're gone.
Yeah.
And it is kind of just traffic that fucks some people up. And we get to, I mean, I'm trying to think of specific moments that stand out during this episode.
Like traffic moments or just moments in general?
Just moments in general, because it's kind of just a slog of like random shit.
Oh, I want to talk about Maya and Rohan taking like 3 hours to get to the first clue box and then subsequently getting lost again and then having to do a 40-point turn to get out of a dead end. The entire time I was just like, oh no, babies, no. No, babies.
And we hear about them in their lovely confessional going, I studied Spanish, you studied French because you wanted to have like the 2 most known languages for when we did the race. We're like so close and we're good friends and like this is our dream. And they eat shit. Like it's bad. But I mean, immediately out the gate as well. We get our first fall of the season, and it is Chris completely eating shit.
Immediately. They haven't even made it to their cars yet.
And just
can we talk about Chris and Mary for a second? Because I adore them. I think they're so lovely. I'm like, which one of the next 3 episodes are they going home in? But they're lovely.
Don't say that.
Okay, but like, where's the lie, Jack?
There isn't a lie, but you didn't need to say it. I know,
but like, we're all thinking it.
Yeah.
The fact that they wandered around for so long trying to get to the rocking horse task, just for all of the rocking horses to be taken, presumably right before they got to the rocking horse task, to the point where I think they passed by Angie and Danny. And then like 4 other teams got to the rocking horses before they did. And then they had to go all the way to the matching task. Oh, God.
Yeah. We do get the real life iteration of what Brody and Jeff would be like from Total Drama Redonkulous Race and Anthony and Bailey, because they're just surfers. Like, that's all we know. They're surfers and they're identical twins, and they were kind of pitted against each other, but now they're not.
I have to be honest. And these boys are probably lovely, wonderful individuals in real life. I could not stand them in this episode. Genuinely could not stand them in this episode. I was just like, the whole time when they get to the first clue box and then think that without another clue, they have to get on the giant spinning platform just to find out that they don't have to get on the giant swinging platform and that the clue box is literally right behind them.
Of course.
And then in their little like bio section, which everyone got theirs, by the way, we learned about everyone's backstory. Also, the number of people on this cast with a connection to cancer, wild. I think it was like 4 different teams.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, okay. Like, Survivor 46, they said the overarching theme was, my childhood was rough. And Amazing Race 36, they said, I have a connection to cancer. I don't know. But I'm just like, I couldn't stand the boys this episode.
But, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else really important happens. I want to say during the roadblock specifically,
Uh-huh.
Karishma.
Yeah,
Unlike
let's talk Karishma here for a second.
she manages to get it in what, like a good 10 tries, which is a lot.
Oh no. Oh no. No.
Was it 13?
I'm pretty sure the number was like 25. Because she also got a crossfade where they had like the da 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 da. They gave her that music because she just could not get this lasso situation. And I genuinely want to say the number was in like the 20s.
And she got it once.
And then she gets it and doesn't get the clue. And she's like, what happened? Mind you, the whole time, and this is my favorite part of this whole situation, the whole time Kishori is like, she didn't read the clue. It's probably going to end. Like, she already knows. She already knows what the issue is going to be. And then Kishori is like, Karishma, read the clue again. And Karishma realizes that she has to wear the, like, necktie thing. And Kishori is just like, I told you, she didn't read the clue. She doesn't follow instructions very well. Why did you choose her to go on the Amazing Race with you if you knew that she was bad at reading instructions?
I don't know, Logan. It's bad. It's real bad.
Oh my God. No.
No.
Like, no.
No.
I will say, amongst other, there were a couple of people that like absolutely demolished the roadblock on their first try. Shane was one of them for the military insert a standard issue military team on the Amazing Race. Yeah, Shane knocked it out no problem. Who else?
Yvonne, I think, makes it
Yvonne,
as well.
yeah, Yvonne gets it very, very quickly. Anthony gets it very, very quickly as well. Derek, whose wife is a world champion double dutcher, and who both of them own a double dutch gym.
Wrong person.
Sean.
Yes.
Not me confused. Okay. There's a lot of people that look very similar. Apologies. Sean, who is a double dutcher, has an issue with this. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Strange for Michelle not to do this, but
I really thought this was as soon as like, and obviously they don't know what the roadblock is going to be. I hear anything with Loop and Mexico, I think Lasso, I give this to Michelle. Like, immediately I give it to Michelle. But, I mean, it still worked out for them in the end, so. I'm like, what else is there? Yeah, so Mary and Rohan are just an absolute disaster.
I mean, we kind of just get to the end of the episode at this point because
we're literally at the end of the episode. So, the top two ends up being kind of this back and forth between Letitia and Rod, who we didn't even mention. Rod I laughed so much at this moment. So they're doing Rod and Letitia's bio segment, and they're talking about how Rod was an NFL player who's in the NFL. And he goes, yeah, I was drafted in the first round to Washington. Long pause. Go Commanders. That man didn't play for Commanders. That man clearly played for what the team used to be called. And I'm pretty sure he called the team the name that they used to be called.
And they had to ADR
and then they had to film it again. No, they had to film it again. And it's just the most awkward cut. I died laughing, Jack.
It's like, yeah, that's not it anymore. Let's try it again.
Rod. I know you were on this team. They're not that name anymore. They're the Commanders, remember? Oh yeah. Go Commanders.
It's like, I've never called it that in my life and probably will not the rest of the season.
Remember when it was the Washington football team? Before they came up with the Commanders? For like, I think it was a full season. They were just the Washington football team.
Because someone fucked up the branding and could not get it out in time. Like, it was bad.
God, it's so bad. So bad.
But also hilarious at the same time because you made this bed and now you're dealing with it.
It's so good. And hey, you know what? They had the forethought to actually change the name. I'll take it. And honestly, Commanders is a better name for a Washington team.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it comes down to Rod and Letitia and Cesar and Ricky, which I was very happy to see. I was like, gays doing well, period. But Letitia and Rod do end up winning the leg. They don't win a goddamn thing, though, because we're still racing.
Okay.
I felt so bad for them.
It's like,
and even
Letitia,
Letitia in confessional too is like, I was so excited for him to call us his team number 1 and to find out what we won, just to find out we gotta keep racing. I love her. Love her. The black women on this season are serving because when women,
they women.
Women.
Exactly.
Thankfully, the women here are womening, unlike Big Brother Canada.
Yay!
Go check out our review of Big Brother Canada, where Amy and I just complained for an hour. Ding. But yes, so Rod and Letitia get first place, but obviously we're still racing, so it doesn't matter. Ricky and Cesar come in second place. Very, very happy to see that. And then kind of out of nowhere, third place, Derek and Shalissa.
Sure.
I had seen them as middle of the pack the whole episode. So for them to pop up third, I was just like, what happened?
Yeah.
Confusion.
And also, in the sweetest way possible, we also get a nice pair of married grandparents. Like, oh,
I love them
so much.
And also, I find Ricky is also an attractive man. I find Derek so attractive. It's just, yeah. There's a lot of hot guys on this cast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. Thank you, casting. But yes, so that's our top 3. Juan and Shane, like I've been alluding to, kind of out of nowhere, pop up in get to the roadblock very early. They destroy the roadblock in the first attempt and end up getting 4th. Which, hey, good for you.
Good for them.
And then this starts our crossfade. So we see Michelle and Sean get 5th. Yvonne and Melissa come 6th. Let's go, lesbians. Angie and Danny coming 7th. Middle of the pack, period. Literally the middle. We'll take it.
We'll take it.
We see our twins, Anthony and Bailey, coming in 8th.
Sunny
and Busy coming
who I
in.
do not think we talked about once, and it's mainly because I did not remember them.
I like them though because they're both female firefighters.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, they were
so
the
they were
female firefighters.
they were the female firefighters, the moms, fabulous moms, older women. I was like, yes, great.
Okay, work.
They seem absolutely lovely and fine.
They were not given basically any screen time during this episode.
And they will probably go home mid-season.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah. And then we see Kishori and Karishma coming in 10th after Karishma recovered from a roadblock accident. And so we see the 3 teams that were kind of at the back of the pack for at least some of the episode. In Amber and Vinny are are dating nurses. So not every team that's dating is queer, unfortunately.
Yeah, valid.
We have them. We have Maya and Rohan with all of their absolute disasters, and Chris and Mary, who are just happy to be there.
Yeah, they're happy to be there.
Thankfully, Mary does a pretty good job in the roadblock, and they're able to squeak by an 11th. Thrilled for them. And then shortly after they check into the pit stop, Amber and Vinny check in as well. They are not the last team. And in fact, the last team ends up being Maya and Rohan, which when I watched, I was like, oh, well, they're last, but it's okay because they're just going to keep racing. No, they get eliminated.
Yeah. This has happened exactly twice on the American season.
Mm-hmm.
Normally it's like, oh, we'll give you a speed bump or something. The only other time this has happened is season 32, which was the last season before we're evacuating half the teams because of COVID.
Yep.
So yeah, if you don't remember that season, I don't blame you, because there was a lot more interesting of a season after.
I just had to go look up who it was that got eliminated.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the dude bro best friends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I could not tell you who these people were if I tried.
No, quite honestly, the only teams I remember from this season are Will and James, obviously, because they won, and Kaylin and Haley, because they kept getting saved.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they literally got 3 non-elimination legs and then were finally eliminated.
Yeah.
Because this was a 12-episode season with 11 teams.
Yeah, 3 different non-elimination legs, which...
Yeah. This was also the season that they kept in the production booth for 2 years. Remember that? How they filmed the season in 2018 and they decided to finally air it in 2020 because they needed programming at the end of 2020.
Yeah. And then we basically had the exact same scenario with this season. Just a little shorter. Yeah. And this time for an actual reason.
Yes. So
I'm pretty sure they were trying to cancel The Amazing Race and we're like, God damn it, we need something.
Can't cancel it now, bitches. And the last couple of seasons have had the highest ratings in years. So
oh yeah,
they're a bitch.
Because surprise, when you want to travel the world and you can't, you're gonna like watching.
Surprise when people are stuck in their houses. The best thing to do is watch people race around the world.
Yeah.
So I felt really bad for Maya and Rohan. I honestly wish they had gotten the opportunity to keep racing. I don't know whether they would have fully recovered.
I feel like they would have had the chance to maybe get into like 11th or 12th, but it would have been a hard sell.
Yeah. Is this the second season in a row where the superfan best friends go home first?
That's what I was also going to say.
Yes.
Yeah. For 2 seasons in a row, we had people who were like, I'm ready to be on the race. I'm ready to be. Were they last season? Were Sheridan and
Alexandra.
Were they friends or were they siblings?
They were siblings, I believe.
Yeah.
But also touted as
but also super
I don't know.
fans.
Well, if tradition holds it over these 2 seasons, the closest to the second eliminated team technically would be Kishori and Karishma. Because the second eliminated team was the mother-daughter team.
Yeah.
So it'd either be Kishori and Karishma or it would be Chris and Mary. So, one of those teams like that might go home next.
A little bit. But, we'll figure it out.
I could genuinely see either of those teams going home in the next couple of episodes or making it to the end of the season, honestly. But I'm very happy for Angie and Danny. That is who I am rooting for. Sorry.
Everyone else is probably lovely.
Everyone else seems very lovely. I'm biased. I'm sorry. I do really like Kishori and Karishma a lot. I like Rod and Letitia. Rod is just very, very high energy, and I like that. All of the gays, I'm rooting for all the gays. Yeah, and that's that. So, one episode of Amazing Race 36, which was supposed to be 35, it was filmed as 35, down. Let us know in the comments down below, what did you think of this premiere of Amazing Race 36? Who are you rooting for, and why is it Angie and Danny? It better be.
We will also take Rick and Caesar or Yvonne and Melissa.
Or any options.
Or any options.
Because everyone on this cast seems like a lovely person that's not a bad person. So,
but if you're not rooting for them, but if you're not rooting for those 3 specifically, then nice. Exactly.
But make sure to subscribe, like, and share on the way out. It does mean the world to us. We greatly appreciate having the support over here. We've got a lot of other reality TV content coming out on a weekly basis over here at The Cup. So make sure to tune in for all of that. As we're winding down Australian Survivor, we're winding up with Amazing Race and Survivor 46. Big Brother Canada, Deal or No Deal Island. We've got so much, and we've got fabulous wrestling content as well, and more exciting things to come as well. So go subscribe to all of our channels. Throw your support at us. We greatly appreciate it. All of our links will be down in the description below. While you're down in the description below, you could follow us on our social media at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You could follow me and Jack on our individual social media because we're also pretty cool people. And you could also go get your merch, including but not limited to Cup Mug, down below as well. With all that being said, I'm going to go pretend like I'm on a race around the world. I'm not in Walla Walla, but I could still fake it here.
Yeah, you can figure it out.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Da, 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 dun, 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 dun.